Welcome to part one of the Align with Abundance course. And this one, we're going to go deep, guys. This one's going to be working with the past. We're going to be looking at those limiting beliefs that we hold around money in particular, around the energy of financial abundance. Going deep into them, bringing awareness to them, feeling into them, processing them, so that we can make space for a new set of beliefs. New set of powerful intentions, affirmations, and then leading us on to part two, in which we will visualize this ideal future and the ideal future self that we're looking to align with. But first of all, there's no getting around it. We've got to go into the past. We've got to look at where these beliefs have come from, look at where these past traumas and misalignments have come from. And this probably will be the most challenging of the four trainings. You know, we've all got things in our past that have been traumatic, challenging, difficult moments in our lives. And, you know, I'll talk a bit more about this, but it's when these times, when we talk about trauma, these times when our system is hit by an energy that is too overwhelming for our system. We're not able to meet and feel through that energy. We don't have the support system in place from our caregivers. And this is what creates kinks or traumas in our system. And we've all got them. We've all got some capital T traumas, you could say, that we all know of. But we've all got lots of little minor traumas in there as well. And this work is a process of going through them. First of all, bringing awareness to them so you know what they are. And then feeling through them in order to process them with support, so we can create space for new energy to come through, from a new version of ourselves to come through. So let's go into this one, guys. I think it will be a tricky one. That's why I would advise you to book the first of your 4 included group healing meditations with me in my community. Just reach out to me anytime. Say to try and do 1 a week of those during the month of this course. Spread them out. And that will help you to clear the energy that's coming up in response to this work. We're going to do a lot of journaling here, a lot of going into the past. We're going to bring a lot of energy to the surface, so it's essential that we then clear that energy with support of the community. That's what makes this program or course a little bit different. So yes, let me share what I've got for today, guys, and we'll begin. So yes, aligning with abundance, creating the life and prosperity and freedom that you deserve. Part 1. We're going to go into the past, as I said, clearing limiting beliefs, making room for a new higher vibration future for ourselves and those around us. So what do we mean when we talk about limiting beliefs? So we've all got them. Part of our conditioning, you know, we've all grown up in an age filled by traumas from the past, passed down to us through our lineage. I like to think that things are changing. If you know anything about these things, then the energy on the planet shifted 2012. And, you know, we are seeing a more high vibration reality starting to come through. But for anything like me, prior to 2012, when I was 32, you know, so about 3 decades worth of traumas and conditioning leading up to this point. Particularly around the energy of money, and my own journey. Once I got kind of cleared some of these capital T traumas, I started to look at these smaller traumas, these layers of conditioning that I had around money. And I talked more about my history on the last video, so I won't go too much into that, but I'll just touch on it again here. But essentially, it's our beliefs that shape our reality. So once we get that, we've got the key, really. If you think of the world we see around us, that's a beautiful day out there, but if you think of the world we see around us, it basically is a reflection of our mind, and more specifically, our beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. We all have a slightly different view of reality, and there's nothing wrong with that, which is why I feel that arguments are pointless, really. We've all got a different view of reality, and we're entitled to our own view. There's no need to argue with someone over how we perceive the world, because we've all got different experiences as we grow up. We've all got different beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. And we can shift those. These aren't, the mind isn't static, the energetic system isn't static. So whatever beliefs we have about ourselves and what we're capable or not capable of, whatever beliefs we have around the world around us and how beautiful the world is or how terrible the world is, this can always change. But what's important to realize is that our view of the world isn't static. It can change. Our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about our capabilities, our beliefs about others, they can all be changed. And this is a process of shining a light on all of those limiting beliefs we have around ourselves so that we can align with our higher self, which is infinite, which is connected to everything, which is infinite possibilities. Once we realize, we start to touch on that reality of who we really are, we can start to clear everything that's out of alignment with that true version of ourselves. So where do these beliefs come from, particularly when we talk about money? All traumas really go back to our childhood, from the age of 0 to 7. You know, if we talk around this before, but essentially, you know, we have conditioning from our parents. When we see things when we're growing up, we may have seen restrictions around money. We may have seen our parents or caregivers struggling with money, and that's passed down from their parents, etc. But we're living in an age now we can break that line of conditioning or beliefs and create a new reality for ourselves. You know, when I think about my own past, I talked about it in the last video, but seeing my parents fairly comfortable, but my own father struggling with money, racking up loads of debt, not having a great deal of success with his own business. This was passed down to me. I had limiting beliefs around myself that I was bad with money, that I wouldn't be successful if I created a business, that clients wouldn't pay me. I've had to work, these have come up constantly on my own journey, particularly, you know, on creating my own business, becoming an entrepreneur, and, you know, uncovering my higher purpose and serving others. Constant limiting beliefs coming to the surface. And you know, it's not just passed down from our parents or caregivers and their parents, etc. There's also social conditioning that we get from wider society, from government, you could say. I mean, it comes in, the media is terrible for it, constantly feeding us with fear and scarcity. So this is passed down to us, and for many people, not even aware of it. You know, we have a lot of people have beliefs around money being scarce, difficult to earn, that there's never enough, and yeah, that's simply not true. That money is infinite, the same as energy is infinite, and it's all about aligning ourselves with that energy of abundance rather than scarcity and lack. So this first part is going to be around shining a light, shining awareness on these misalignments, these limiting beliefs that we have, so we can begin to clear them. So a few examples, I've already started to name a few, but this is a big one. I can't afford that. How often have I said that? How often have you said that in our lifetimes? And it may seem at times like things are more expensive than the money we've got available at the moment, but we can start to reframe these thoughts when we hear them come up. Awareness is really important. You know, meditation practice is crucial, because we need to become aware, first of all, that we're not our mind, we're not our thoughts, and we can actually witness and listen to these thoughts. So once we start to become aware of a thought that comes up like, I can't afford that, just be aware of that. That's a limiting belief. That is a misalignment in the system. And essentially it's untrue. You know, if you think, if we align with it, if we realize the fact that we are infinitely powerful, eternal beings, ultimately that's who we really are, then anything that doesn't align with that or doesn't agree with the fact we are connected to all and we are fully abundant all the time, then you can realize that any thought based on lack, scarcity, or fear is actually a lie. It's untrue. And I might talk a bit more about this, but we can start to reframe these kind of thoughts. I can't afford that, which is untrue, because you can do anything, because you are an infinite soul being. So we can reframe a thought like, I can't afford that, to maybe, how can I afford that? Just feel into the difference in the way that feels. I can't afford that. The mind is shut down, it's blocked off, there's no way forward. I remember I worked with my coaches for 15 months. These are, in my opinion, some of the best coaches in the world. And, you know, full disclosure, when I found out the cost that was involved to work with them for that amount of time, that thought came up. I can't afford that. I'll never be able to afford that. I think initially the cost was something like £15,000. And I just thought, there's no way that's ever going to happen. But now, having done a lot of this work, you can realize a thought like that isn't true, because here I am 3 years later, having invested in those programs that felt right to me. But if I believed that thought early on, I never would have moved forward and changed my life essentially. So we can shift a thought like I can't afford that to how can I afford that? That goes from shutting the mind down to blocking it off to there being no way forward to a possibility. How can I afford that? Suddenly the mind, instead of being closed down, is open. It's thinking about the way forward. It's looking for possibilities. Always looking for ways that we can open the mind up to possibilities rather than closing it off. Another one that I like, instead of I can't afford it, is I can't afford this right now, but I know the money's coming. Again, that opens the mind up. All of a sudden, instead of being blocked off, you're opening up to that possibility. Okay, I may not be able to afford it right now, but how can I? I know that it's coming. I know the universe is there to support me. So I'm not going to block off this possibility. I'll keep it open. Money is hard to earn. Yeah, I think I've definitely had this one in my life, and I think many people do. This is why we end up a lot of the time in jobs and careers that don't fulfill us. We feel we have to just earn our living, and yes, that has been the way the world's been for a long time, but things are changing a lot. And a lot of my journey over the last 3 years in particular, building my own business, is realizing that we don't have to work in a way that doesn't light us up and fulfill us. Work can be incredibly enjoyable, and also we don't have to be restricted by a particular salary that a job or employer pays to us. We have the potential, each of us, to create a way of earning money that is aligned with our soul mission. And when we start doing that and we provide real value to people's lives, the potential for earning money is unlimited at that point. So it doesn't have to be hard to earn. Rich people are bad. You obviously hear this a lot, okay, as well as money being the root of all evil. That's a condition that we've had growing up. But rich people, sure, there are rich people out there, not with the interest of the world or the wider collective at heart, but there are some very wealthy people out there doing amazing things. As I always said in the last video, money is not bad. It's completely neutral, and it enhances whoever it goes to. So if you've got misalignments, trauma in your system, money comes to you, it enhances that, and yes, you could end up doing some things that aren't particularly positive. But if you've done a lot of work on yourself, a lot of healing on yourself, and money comes to you, then it can be incredibly positive, and you can do incredibly wonderful things for the world and everybody on the planet. This is the big one. Spiritual people shouldn't earn money. I see this all the time in groups. It's such a shame. This idea that, if you're offering healing services or spiritual development courses or coaching, whatever it might be, that you should give that away for free. This idea of the yogi on the mountaintop who people come to, and then people give him or her food, and he just teaches for free and lives in a cave. That's not the reality we live in. This is the Western world. I'm sure those people still exist, but that's not the reality that we're living. So money is just an energy exchange, and that's how we need to see it. In the past, we would have exchanged other things. I don't know, would it textiles or cattle, whatever it would have been. Money is just our method of energetic exchange that we give in compensation for things that help us, goods or services that help us. And really, we can get to a place where it's a pleasure to give money to people who are really doing good in the world and are helping us. And that's the way we need to look at it, really. Spiritual people have every right to earn a living and live an abundant life. You don't have to live a life of scarcity and lack just because you're helping people heal and evolve spiritually. Wanting money is greedy. Again, I'm sure you can relate to times in life when you've heard that thought come up. I certainly have. There's nothing greedy about it. You could do it in a greedy way, but really, Money for me is a beautiful energy of support. That is that key word of support. Money supports me to live a beautiful life of freedom, to explore the world, to invest in the healing, the coaching, the experiences that light me up inside, that help me to evolve towards my higher self. And yeah, supports me in helping others do the same through my business. So money it's a wonderful energy of support, and wanting it, there's nothing wrong with that. It just empowers you. It helps you to do more good in the world. So we can break through that one as well. There is enough money to go around. So this is around scarcity, the idea that money is limited. It really isn't. Money is infinite, infinitely available, just like all energy. So again, if you hear that one come up, that's just an energy of scarcity in the system. And that's a limiting belief that we can break down, and we can heal the trauma behind it. I don't deserve to be rich. So this all comes down to our view of ourselves, really, our self-esteem. But as I said, we all have a right to live a beautiful, abundant life. That's what we're here for. That's what we're placed here for, to heal ourselves, to grow, and to live an incredible life, to see this planet, to invest in our healing and the wonderful experiences that light us up inside. And you deserve to live an abundant life as much as anybody else. If that one comes up for you on a regular basis, then that is a question of self-worth, and that requires healing. As all of these limiting beliefs, if we're tied to them, they require some healing. What I mean by that is feeling into them. And I'll talk a bit more about that later, but that's a question of self-esteem. That's something that we can break down and heal. I'm not good with money. This is one of mine. Having seen the template of my dad not being able to save any money, losing money all the time, racking up credit card bills, I had that one. But again, it's any of these beliefs, they may have been true at a point in my life, but that doesn't mean that they're permanent. It doesn't mean that it's, as human beings, we're constantly changing. The mind is always changing. Our energy is always changing. And so just because something seems to be true doesn't mean it's permanent. We can always change these beliefs as we go through life and work on ourselves. And as I've already touched on that one, money is evil. Money is completely neutral. It just enhances the person that it goes to. So if you've got misalignments, trauma in your system, it will enhance that. If you've done a lot of work on yourself, healed yourself, and you've got the best intentions for the world and everyone in it, then money can be a powerful force of good in the world. And that's what we want. We want money going into the hands of people that have got healing gifts, are here to raise their collective consciousness. We want money going into those directions, enhancing those people and their ability to serve others. That's how we're going to raise their collective consciousness at this crucial time in our awakening. So moving on to some examples, and there are an infinite amount, so I'm sure you can detect your own. We'll go a bit deeper into how we can identify what our limiting beliefs are. But often these involve struggle and scarcity around money, and deny the truth of our true power and divinity. This is what I'm talking about, is the fact that who we really are, you could say, is source, connected to all that is, infinitely powerful, undying, divine, and infinitely powerful. So if you notice a thought around lack, fear, scarcity around money, you know it's a lie, because that is all that represents is a misalignment, a trauma in your system that can be healed. So it's all around witnessing those kind of thoughts, those self-limiting thoughts, not believing them. And the technique I use to do this is, when you hear that kind of thought, okay, this is self-limiting, this is fear, scarcity, lack, drop your awareness from your head, your thoughts, into your body. Just feel into the subtle sensations in the body. Now, as I said, you've got access to 4 group healing meditations with me. After this training, I'd recommend booking the first of those in with me. It happened on a Saturday evening, UK time. And you can feel into the energy that's being stirred up by this work. And I'll direct you on the process of healing these internal blockages and misalignments. Until we're aware of these beliefs, they will keep us stuck. So awareness is key. Awareness that any thought around scarcity, lack, any thought of self deprecation or hatred towards ourselves is a lie. It's untrue, and it just represents a trauma waiting to be healed in our system. The other aspect of this is realizing that the mind itself is very limited. The thinking mind. The thinking mind really is a powerful tool, very useful in our day-to-day lives, human lives, very useful in our work, crucial, in fact, in keeping us alive in human form. We need it. But its only focus really is survival, keeping us alive. And so when it comes to our healing, when it comes to our spiritual development, when it comes to expanding into abundance in any area, it's not really going to help us, because what the mind is interested in is keeping us where we are because we're alive and we're surviving. It's not really interested in us confronting our fears, not really interested in us thriving and expanding, because that's a perceived threat to our survival. Why should we go and invest in ourselves? Why should we go and potentially invest in some kind of travel experience or whatever it might be, because we're alive at the moment. So that's all it cares about, just keeping us alive, just surviving. Just realize that the mind is a powerful tool. It has its place in our lives. It's essential, but the thinking mind is very limited. There's a whole universe or ocean of intelligence available to us if we're willing to move beyond the mind and back into the body. This is our intuitive intelligence, and I'll talk a bit more about that as we go. So the mind uses the past to keep us stuck in fear. It's always referring to the past. Well, that program, in my case, for example, that program, that's a stretch financially. You shouldn't do that because remember when this happened, remember when you went into debt and this didn't work, or it's constantly using the past to keep us where we are. But there's another way of using the mind. When you hear really fearful thoughts coming around the past, is you can reframe them to an extent. It's just giving it more positive idea of what the future might be. Okay, may not have gone that well in the past, which the mind brings up, but also you can bring your mind to an incident where investing in yourself or a program or whatever it might be has ended positively and gone well. Just be aware of the fact that the mind is trying to keep us where we are. It's trying to keep us alive and safe, just doing its job. But if we always believe the mind, we will just create a life of safety and survival, and we'll never really thrive and explore our true potential. And as I said, the real key here is any thought of scarcity or lack is untrue. It's a lie. It's just a misalignment in our system and reflects a trauma that can be healed. And as you go through this course, this program, and attend those meditations live in my community, you'll start to do that, heal those misalignments. So that's a bit of background on the limiting beliefs that we all have. So there's going to be quite a bit of journaling involved in this first section, quite a bit of work to do on the side in terms of, as well, hopefully watching and replaying this video, get a clear idea about self-limiting beliefs. Obviously, spend a whole week on this section. Don't rush it. Take your time. Take an evening out or two and go through these questions and write honestly about your answers and feel into your body's response as you go. Often when we're going into the past, bringing up difficult memories, etc., it can be quite painful, quite difficult if we're stuck in the mind. But if we can bring our awareness back from the head into the body and feel through what's happening internally, we can process this energy as well as it's coming up. You can do a certain amount on our own, but it's much more powerful in groups, which is why I offer those 4 group meditations. So we'll start the journaling now. Think back to experiences maybe while you're growing up. I said this is where the majority of our traumas are formed, conditioning. Write down the answers to these questions and feel through them whilst you write. So regular perhaps you answer one honestly and vulnerably as you can. And then just feel through, drop your awareness into your body, feel through the subtle sensations that are happening. Perhaps there's a tightening in the stomach, perhaps there's a collapse in the solar plexus. This generally is where that energy of abundance comes through for us, and misalignments that are associated with us. First question, what have your thoughts and beliefs been around money? just take some time out and just write as much as you're ready, much as wants to come through. Just free writing, whatever's coming up in your mind. Just write down whatever your thoughts and beliefs have been about money in the past. If you think about childhood experience with money, what comes up? What kind of emotions are present? What kind of imagery? What kind of stories? Or yeah, what can you see there? What kind of visualizations can you see when you think about money? For me, as I said, it was my father and having all the difficulties with money, arguments they were having with my parents led me to believe that money was a difficult thing, was a challenging thing, was something that was having a negative impact. And so I had all this work to do around money. What phrases do you remember being told around money? We've already talked about a few of them. Money is hard to earn. I'm sure you'll have your own phrases that come around money. Money is bad or evil, whatever it might be. What feelings do you remember having around anything to do with money as a child? Was that fear? Was that lack? Was that scarcity? Hatred? Whatever's there. Get clear on those. And I said feel into the body as well as they're coming up. How did your parents interact with money? Did they spend it frivolously? Did they hoard it? What happened there? What did you see at home in childhood? What did you hear was their experience with money? How did you feel about the interactions of it and not having it? And what did you learn about money and decide? What were the limiting beliefs that came up and have stuck? And we talked about a few examples before, but this is a great way through journaling to get it all out on the page so you can see it in front of you. So bring awareness of what those limiting beliefs are. Until we're aware of those limiting beliefs, we can't do anything about them. And this is also a process that starts to move energy up through the system. You may be able to feel as you're writing certain parts or traumas coming up, energy coming up. And that's why it's important to also take regular intervals where you just feel into the body, feel into what's happening, allowing energy to process. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, just let energy process through the system. Energy that's been stuck, could have been stuck there for decades. You're doing this work, if you're called to doing this work, you're ready to heal, you're ready to step into a new version of yourself. That's bringing some awareness to the past through journaling. Now, there's a few more exercises we can do. Again, going into the past, going into our limiting beliefs, going into our fear around money. Complete a few sentences with your words. Again, a bit more journaling for you. Money is, just free writing around that. Money makes me feel. Successful people are, etc., etc. How do you feel when spending money? This was a big one that I had to work on. Wherever I let money go, even just buying a coffee, paying a bill, buying clothes for myself, there was a restriction, a collapse, a fear in my system. And by feeding through that, instead of running away from it, hiding it, numbing it, whatever it might be, we can start to clear the underlying trauma and process these limiting beliefs so that we can realize they're not true, replace them with some new empowering beliefs and affirmations. So again, take time to go through that. And, if we're going to go right down into the darkness that we hold around money, when you get to a state we feel, okay, so write down the worst case scenario for a circumstance, for a money scenario in your life right now. It's something I think of, I visualize quite regularly when it comes to there's a lot of fear in my system around money. Things aren't working out quite as I'd hoped. Actually journal, what is the worst case scenario here? I did this quite recently. When things in my business weren't quite going as I hoped. Thankfully, it picked up again. But okay, what is that worst case scenario? I went through it and I visualized it and I wrote it down. Can't pay the bills, can't pay the mortgage, lose the house. Parents can't house us. We end up on the street. We all, you can go as far. We all starve on the street. What's the absolute worst case scenario? And the key is that, that would never happen because there's always support, particularly in a country like in Great Britain or in any kind of first world Western country. There's always going to be support for us. There's never a black hole that we fall down. But the key here is to really stir up that fear in the system, to write about it, the worst case scenario. And then, as I said before, to sit with it, to feel it, and visualize that world of everything going wrong, everything falling apart. Feel through it. You can also do my abundance activation meditation as well on the other side of this, because it will bring up a lot of painful, fearful emotions. And just meditate on that. Feel into those painful emotions. What's there? It's always just a feeling in the system, like collapse in the stomach, a tightening in the solar plexus, whatever it might be. Just feel into that, so you can process the worst case scenario. Because once you process that energy, that emotion, suddenly that reality doesn't hold the same fear as it did before. That visualization isn't as frightening for us. And the fear will begin to be released. All of a sudden you realize, oh, actually, that would never happen. It's the worst case scenario, but you process the energy, all of a sudden the fear's gone, and you realize, well, what would actually happen? There'd always be support. And if I couldn't pay the bills or I lost my mortgage, you move in with parents or whatever it might be. There's never going to be. There'll always be support. It's always available to us. The universe has always got our back. So that's a case. We're really going into the darkness, really going into our fear, feeling through it, processing the energy, and you realize that the situation is nowhere near as dark as what you think it is. So, we've gone into the past there. We've gone into the darkness around money, starting to process it, bring the energy up so we can start to change some of these limited beliefs, start to change some of these fears that the mind is coming up with to keep us stuck where we are. So what that means is, as I said earlier, we can start changing those beliefs. Once we've cleared the energy that is supporting these limiting beliefs and process some of it, we can make room for a new energy, for a new set of empowering beliefs. So, changing our beliefs. You can listen to my abundant flow meditation, which I think is the section before this. And obviously you can listen to that as much as you want. I'd advise going through this course, listening to it on a daily basis if you can, just to be able to clear the energy that's coming up and align with a new high vibration reality. Listen to that abundant flow meditation. Once you've cleared a lot of that darkness, once you brought it to the surface, and then journal again. How do you want to experience money today? What do you want your new reality to be? Having listened to that meditation, raise your vibration. Well, how does money feel to you now? Does money suddenly feel like a beautiful energy of support that can help you to live a wonderful life and serve others on their path as well? For example, money makes me what comes up now when you're reframing these beliefs. Money makes me a happy, more fulfilled person, for example. Money makes me feel successful people are. Money means I. To get money, I. So we're just, once we cleared some of this old, darker energy, listen to that abundant flow meditation, line yourself with the energy of abundance, and start to rewrite out some of these statements. And there's also affirmations that we can start to implement into our daily routine. Affirmations can be incredibly powerful. What I always say to people is affirmations on their own aren't going to make a great deal of difference, but if they're combined with the healing work of feeling through energies that come to the surface, feeling through the limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk, and healing that energy and processing it, then if we bring affirmations in, they can help us shape a new reality and a new version of ourselves. This is something I do. I do a meditation in the morning, and then I read through my ideal future day, which I'll talk about in the next training. And then there's some affirmations that I read out loud, and some of them are here. A new set of powerful, self-empowering beliefs that you can fit into your life. I attract money to me easily and effortlessly, used to say. I always have enough money. I'm fully supported by the universe. I love money because money loves me. I'm worthy of the wealth I desire. And you can feel into what's coming up here, because often when we read through these affirmations, there's a part that is activated. Again, the part that says, no, that's untrue. Again, that's a misalignment. Just feel into that. Feel into whatever it is, a tightness, a blockage. What's in there as you read through these affirmations out loud? Feel into anything that comes up that disagrees with these affirmations, because they're all true, because we're all connected to the abundant universe. I'm worthy of the wealth I desire. I deserve to make more money. Again, this is the question of self-worth. People love to pay me and compensate me widely for my gifts. And this eventually, if you decide to take the same path as me down to healing or coaching or whatever it might be, attracting those clients that you can help, and then being happy to pay you. As I said, it's an energy exchange, so you can expand yourself in your own business, your way of serving others. Money is as easy to create as breathing. This is one I say quite a lot, because it's, as I say that, there's often a part that comes up, thought that comes up that disagrees with that, but that's the essential truth. It's always trying to get to us. Abundance, money, and all its abundance in all its forms is always trying to get to us. It's always around us. It's only the misalignments and blockages in our energetic system that stop it from coming to us. So as we heal ourselves, we heal these limiting beliefs and these traumas, then that can become reality for us. Money can be as easy to create as breathing. I know plenty of examples of people like that, and I'm on the path to that myself. I wouldn't say I'm quite there yet, but money is becoming more and more of an overflow as I do this work, healing myself and stepping into my soul mission or my higher purpose. So do take your time with these exercises. As I say, spend a week going through each one in detail. Write out as much as is there. Really get it all out in answer to these questions. And when you've gone through them, when you've written enough, when you do the meditation, abundance activation meditation, get in the first of the 4 group healing meditations with my community. That will allow you to process a lot of this low vibrational energy, and then bring in these new set of empowering beliefs and rewrite out some of the answers to these questions, and then bring in the affirmations, to replace those old, outdated, self-limiting beliefs with a new set of empowering beliefs about yourself and money and what is possible for your life. So yes, do take your time, spend a good week going through these exercises, and this is clearing a path to make way for a new empowering future for yourself, so you can serve a greater collective as well. So hope you enjoyed that one, guys. I know it's a difficult one, and feel for it all, and I shall see you in the next training where we're going to go and create this new ideal future for ourselves. Bye for now.